Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name is Shannon.
I'm Alyssa.
Welcome back to another episode of B Movie Bash.
Hey, movie bash.
This week, we've got some good stuff going every week.
Well,
And it's a lie every week. So.
It's some good bad stuff. So
I guess we should say,
some bad good stuff.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Bad, good stuff?
Porky and
Good,
Leftovers.
bad stuff.
Yeah.
Bad stuff.
Bad stuff.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
This is going to come out after Valentine's Day, but we are recording right before.
Yes.
So the sentiment is there. The thought is there. And this week's movie is not so there.
No.
But hey, here we go.
Here we go.
Okay.
We are going to be talking about 2020 Cupid. Okay.
Uh-huh.
It has a 3.06 IMDb rating.
Okay.
Yeah. As a 17% Rotten Tomatoes rating.
Okay.
Yes. The synopsis is, after being horrendously embarrassed by the mean girls at school, Faye, a practicing witch, summons the...
Faye.
Sorry. You're kidding. Faye, a practicing witch, summons the evil Cupid to take revenge on all of those who wronged her.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Okay.
I want to say practicing witch
Is a stretch.
Is a stretch, okay? So,
okay. She's not like someone who does witchery.
She tries, but like...
That's a practicing witch? Rude.
It's
She's
one of
trying
those, like...
her best, Alyssa, okay?
Everything about her makes me scream like, you picked this up last week, didn't you? Yep. So we open to an old leather-bound book that says Cupid written on the front cover. Okay. These two hands reach forward and they do the whole open the book and then hold it there open thing. For 4 minutes and 46 seconds, we get a story, the true story of Cupid.
And is it like flipping through pages? No.
It's the same 2 pages, and I'm pretty sure they just took a screenshot and then just like kept zooming in because those hands didn't move.
Okay.
Not for a second. And for like 4 minutes, you would have at least been like,
time.
Yeah, like your fingers would have twitched. No, it was a screenshot. And they had these animated pictures drawn over the cover, or like drawn over the pages and stuff. But there was like all these candles sitting around it, and the light that was coming onto it was definitely set behind the candles.
Yeah.
And one of the candles was casting a shadow over the book the entire time.
Like, just show us the pictures that you want. Like, just as a movie.
Yeah.
Not as a book.
But I'm pretty sure they wanted it to be further away because whatever amount of money... As an artist, as someone who draws and likes getting paid for work, they paid whatever amount of money they paid.
It was too much?
Was too much. Okay? I've worked with 3rd graders that have drawn better than this kind of thing. Like, it was so bad. It was, like,
And I get if they were trying to go for, like, old and, like, you know, like, I can't even think of, like, whimsical.
Yeah, but it was, I'm
so excited for screenshots.
Yeah.
So excited.
They're so bad.
Okay.
They're awful.
Okay.
They're terrible.
Cool.
So, so we get 4 minutes and 46 seconds of the story of Cupid, okay? Right. And the original, or like, the version everyone knows is that Venus and Mars got together, had a baby, Cupid, right?
Sure.
And Cupid was born, his job is to make people fall in love, but he falls in love with a human named Psyche, who is the most beautiful woman inside and out, and people believe that she was more beautiful than Venus herself.
Well,
so,
I mean,
exactly.
Debatable.
So, jealous of her son's lover, she forbade them from seeing each other.
That's so weird.
I know.
Mom.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Like, it's one thing to be like, listen, you're not the most beautiful woman in the world, okay? It's me. Yeah. Like, I don't understand.
So, like, he can never love anybody because no one's ever going to measure up to his mother?
I don't know.
That is a whole bunch of just...
I know.
Therapy is needed.
Gross.
Okay.
Yep. But Psyche loved Cupid so much, she went to Venus and begged for her to let them be together, right?
Yeah.
And Venus was like, okay, fine, I'll let you be together if you can complete these 3 impossible tasks.
Okay.
What were the tasks? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Psyche completed the tasks.
Okay. But they're impossible.
Yeah.
Apparently
but
not.
I don't know what, like, it was complete these tasks. Okay. She comes back with these 3 items.
Okay.
I don't know.
The cow was white as milk. The cape is red as blood.
I love that. But yeah, she comes back But like right before she gets to the castle, what castle? The castle, that's what they said.
Okay.
She collapses. She has no more energy. She can't even get to the stairs to get up to be like, look, Venus, I've done it. I've completed the task.
Because Venus lives in a castle now.
Yes, I guess.
Okay.
So Cupid, seeing her out there and like about to die,
yeah.
rescues her, right? And he goes and scoops her up and sees that she's like running out of energy. She's gonna die soon. So he takes the arrow of the gods that is like coated in ambrosia. And ambrosia is the food of the gods, and I guess it's what turns you into a god. That's like what a lot of legends say.
Okay, well, Hercules,
I know.
I mean,
right?
Wow, he had a rough time.
Right? So he goes to prick her finger with it. And in every other rendition of it, this is where Psyche becomes like a goddess, or like a lesser goddess, right? Or becomes immortal at least.
Demi or something,
yeah. But in this version, oh no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Venus had poisoned Cupid's arrows.
Oh.
Okay, I don't know how she thought, I'm gonna poison his arrows in case this bitch comes back.
Yeah, and just like fucking everybody's getting poisoned.
Yeah, like...
Maybe she's just really mean.
I guess.
Just a bitch. That Venus. Okay.
I get so mad when they like talk about like the goddesses of love being like jealous of everything, and I'm like, there are so many different forms of love. I don't understand. True. Like, if you want to sit there and be like, oh, she's more beautiful, I'd be like, okay, we're gonna fight. But like,
you should be scattering the love like fucking confetti all over the world.
I just get so mad when they portray certain love goddesses as like it's different if they're like, oh yeah, they're the goddess of beauty and jealousy. I'd be like, yeah, she's living up to her name. What are you mad about? Like, but anyway, but she poisoned the arrows. Again, I don't know how she thought, I'll poison the arrows, because in my mind, as Venus, I'd be like, I gave her these tasks, she's never going to complete them.
Yeah, they're impossible.
I
said it myself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Why would I have been like, that is a backup plan. I'm going to poison my son's arrows in case
she's about to die.
Because of course he's going to prick her with it. Because how fucking convoluted is that?
Maybe she's also a fortune teller.
Maybe, I don't. I mean, she's a god, so maybe she is all knowing and shit. But like,
that's a lot of omnipotence that I am not signed up for.
Right. Anyway, so he stabs her with the arrow, poisons her, and it kills her. Yeah. Right. And so, super upset, he flies around murdering a whole bunch of people in town.
Cool.
Right.
Murderous rage.
Right.
I love it.
He goes to the underworld. Do they talk about who the god of death is? No, he's just the god of death. So he goes to the god of death and is like, I need your help for revenge. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you were doing pretty good on your own. Like, you were murdering a lot of people.
You just killed a lot of people.
Yeah, you just like... But the god of death instead warped his mind and made him more angry.
What?
More angry.
Right.
And after the right circumstances, which... is just saying the words.
Okay.
Really.
So who knows?
Who knows?
Okay.
You know, like, I was like, oh my gosh, do you have to, like cut your finger? Like, there's all these things that I was like, ooh, right circumstances. Like, what does this have to be?
Saying the magic words.
Saying magic words, is it? So, yep.
Cool.
And to get revenge on all of those, just... people. They said all those who love. And I'm like, so fucking everyone. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we open up to a young woman and a slightly older man sitting at lunch together, and he's wearing the ugliest t-shirt. It's a Hawaiian shirt with long sleeves. It's red, and it's got these yellow flowers on it. It's
full-length Hawaiian. I just can't...
Yeah. And it's, like, buttoned all the way up to the top, too.
What is this?
Like,
why are you...
I don't know.
Why are you making these choices for your life?
I don't know.
Sir.
It was so bad. So he's just kind of explaining how rich and awesome he is, and every time he talks, he's like, oh, you know, I'm just I've got so much money, and I live in a penthouse and everything. Blech. And she's like, oh my gosh, you're like a total bachelor. And he keeps saying these things like, well, that depends on what you classify a blank as. Is it this and this that's awesome? Or is it this and this that's awesome? And he's literally saying like the same thing over and over again.
Blech.
So she's like, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom really quick. And gets up. Goes off to call her friend in the bathroom and is like, listen, I can't do this. Like, I can't be on this date. And the friend is like, what would you expect from a sugar daddy website, you know? And she's like, I can't. He's too full of himself. I gotta go. And she's like, how are you gonna get out of there? And she looks into this weird bathroom stall door. Like, there's the sink in the... I don't know who designed this restaurant, okay. But... there's, like, the toilet over here or something, or it's just a door. Is it,
like, a single bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the sink and the mirror are outside of the toilet.
Like in a hotel?
Yeah.
That's like, here's the toilet, but everyone can use the rest of the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just really weird. I don't know. But she, like, pushes the door open, and there's this window. And I would not climb through that. I'm not even tall enough to climb through that window, right? But it was also, like, covered in decorations, so plants and things like that. I'm like, okay, move all that shit. Have fun, restaurant people, for moving it back.
Yeah,
like,
fuck those guys.
Right? But I guess that's how she decides to sneak out, because that's what she's gonna do.
Okay.
So, but the other thing to me was that they were sitting by a set of double doors, but that didn't seem like it was the entrance to the restaurant to me. It seemed like it was like the back exit where you can just like go sit on the patio outside. Okay. And like, so...
Where's the front door? Yeah. Can you go out the front door without being
just
seen?
Go out the front door. Yeah,
Or just be like, peace.
Yeah.
And just go.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Just be like, listen, this isn't working out. Have a good day. Yeah. But she doesn't want to, so she sneaks out.
I mean, I don't like confrontation either, so I get it.
Yeah.
But...
Still. But he's back at the table, and he picks up his phone, and he says that he's missed 12 calls from Sandy, who is apparently his daughter, right?
I thought you were going to say his wife.
No. And he's like, what the heck? Why is she calling me? Well, suddenly Sandy shows up, flinging herself at the double doors. She looks absolutely disheveled. She's like panting and crying and just like very upset looking. And I thought that she was going to come in and be like, how could you do this to me and mom, dad? Kind of like, that's what... Kind of.
Depends on your definition of bachelor.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, cool.
So she gets inside and she's sitting at the table and he's like, honey, what is going on? What's happening? And she's like, I really messed up, Dad. This is all my fault. It's all my fault. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, what's going on? And she's like, they're all gone. I was mad at you for leaving Mom. And he was like, hey, it was mutual. And I'm like, probably wasn't.
Yeah,
but
doesn't seem like it.
Doesn't seem like it. But at the same time, if he's already left her mother, that's not cheating. Still asshole. But like, just leave your spouse, don't cheat. That's all I'm saying. But she goes, Mom said you were cheating with like total sluts and everything, and I got really angry and I didn't think it would work.
Oh no.
Yeah. And behind her, there's like this computer monitor. I'm pretty sure it's where they like take orders and stuff, you know. But the screen changes to this black and white, anatomically correct heart. Okay. And we just hear like thump, 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 except it sounded like you did like an ultrasound where you held it up to your heart.
So it's like swishy wishy and like...
And then I straight up for a minute was like, is that thumping? Is that what that... Like it's like a heart beating sound? Yeah. Like it sounded way more like the ultrasounds you hear when you're... Yeah, it was just...
Like a little baby heartbeat. But
exactly.
It's like...
Yeah. And slower. Yeah. So, yeah, it was...
Okay.
It was just weird. Anyway.
That is weird.
So he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, oh my gosh, he's coming, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what's happening? And she goes, I summoned a demon, Dad. He flips on a dime. Before he was like, honey, what's going on? Talk to me. Everything's going to be okay. No, he's instantly pissed. And he's like, come with me, young lady. Grabs her by the arm and then by the scruff of her neck and like leads her outside. And I think she tripped, because I don't think he threw her, but like, I think she tripped and she's on the ground and he's yelling at her about
Not another fucking demon, child.
But he's just like, I'm sick of this crap and everything. I don't know what you're on, but you and your mother can take your issues to some other poor asshole. I'm done. And I was like,
that's your fucking daughter,
that's your fucking daughter. I know, it's one thing.
Be done with the wife, sure, but God.
That's your kid. Like, it's not her fault.
Not like, hey, let's get you some help.
Yeah.
Like mental institution, rehab, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely livid. But he turns around and there's his date who comes out and she's like, oh, hi, so-and-so. And he was like, hey, what are you doing out here? And she was like, I just came to get some fresh air. And he was like, okay. And right then, she gets shot through the eye with an arrow.
Jesus.
If you want to call it that. It straight up just looks like they took like a bamboo spike, like, but also not, it didn't have feathers on the end or nothing. Like it
was just like spear.
Yeah. I thought it would have been really cool if it was like bone spines or something, like kind of a, you know, but no.
Okay.
It was supposed to just be some arrow. She gets shot through the eye and just like goes down. Blood splatters across them, you know?
Yeah.
And the dad is like, what the fuck? And looks up and we see this like figure high up in the air with these little like wings, like
flying monkey wings.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, what is that? And the daughter starts freaking out. She gets up, she grabs him, and she's like, we have to go, right? And so they start running into a field.
Okay.
that I suppose was near the restaurant.
Right.
His vehicle was, like, right there. But we find out later in the movie that I guess he can stop cars from working. So So they run into a field and then into a forest.
Okay.
I don't know where else, but like that, like their running scene was like 3 minutes long, and I was like, you pad out that runtime, holy shit, you know. I did so much timing of this movie, like I timed it. I pulled out a stopwatch and was like,
we're doing it.
Yep. And anyway, so they're running along and stuff, and then we look up and we see Cupid flying after them, which I gotta give it to this actor because he just has these massive fake, like, I'm pretty sure the bone, like, the ridge was just PVC pipe, and that they had, like, a sheet stuck to it, and then feathers just kind of, like, layered on it, but they were, like, the fakest looking feathers of all time, but I'm pretty sure someone was up at the top of the screen, like, flapping the wings for him.
Oh my goodness.
Like, just...
Okay.
Definitely a lower budget movie, that's for sure. So they run into the forest, and the dad stops, and he's like, what is going on? The daughter goes, we can't stop it, we just have to wait it out. He says, where? She replies, we can't stop, we have to wait it out, it'll be over.
What?
Like she forgot that she had just said that line, or that they were like, oh, we don't like that line, do it again, like, kind of a thing. Like, she just repeated herself. Okay. And I was like, did they miss that in editing? Like, what? Like...
Okay.
It'd be one thing if she just was, like, repeating it over and over and over again, but, like, he asked her a question, and she responds to him with what she just said.
Yeah.
So he goes, like, where's your mother? And she's like, dead. They're all dead. I don't know who they all are. Yeah. But mom's dead, at least.
Everybody.
Yeah. Suddenly, the dad is shot through the leg by Cupid. Okay. And he hits the ground and is like, my leg. And she's like, Dad, no. And Cupid comes up behind her and knocks her down and then proceeds for 1.5 minutes. Okay. Think of how long time is in a movie.
Yes, time is long outside of movies.
Yes. So. But 1.5 minutes. The dad lays there, grabbing at his leg, going, no, not trying to crawl away, nothing, just laying there.
Okay.
As Cupid takes the daughter's head and is shoving her head towards the other end of the arrow on his leg. Okay. For 1.5 minutes they struggle, which in real life I would be like, I would hope you would struggle longer than that kind of a thing. But like in a movie,
to sit and watch it,
get it over with. Yeah. This movie is only 84 minutes long. So he shoves her head through it, right? And she dies. And the dad is like, no. He never once tried to help, right? Like, tried to stop.
You literally have full control of your leg.
It's
your
gonna
other hurt
leg.
Like a bitch.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah, I just...
Okay.
Anyway. But now he's screaming and crying, and he's like, no, please, no. And Cupid gets up, goes and shoves his hand through the dad's chest, and pulls out his heart. And then just, like, squeezes it. Right?
Cool.
And
Happy Valentine's Day.
Right? We are now in a dark room lit only by candles. Okay? We see a young girl who, if she is not our age,
playing like a high schooler?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no way. There's no way that she is under the age of 25. Okay. There's no way.
You didn't look it up?
I tried. They don't have her age posted anywhere. So, like, IMDb didn't have shit about her. Weird. They were like, look, she was in these movies.
That's it.
I was like, okay. Thanks for that. So, we see the young girl prick her finger with a needle, and she bleeds onto a picture of a man. And I feel I have to emphasize this. He's black. She's white. Everyone else in the movie is white. He's the only, like, black person in the movie. Okay. And I think he brings that up slightly later, because he just kind of mentions, like, oh, man, I was kind of different and stuff. I was like, because you were black in England? Like, you have quite a few black
people. We're in England?
People. Yes.
Oh.
You wouldn't know, though, because half of them don't have accents. So, like, and their accents fade in and out.
Oh, no.
So, anyway, but I think that, like, his whole thing, because he mentions later that he's like, I just, kind of feel close to her and everything. She reminds me of myself. Like, I was a loner, too, and I was kind of an outcast and stuff. And I was like, because you were, like, the only black guy in the apparent entire universe.
Right.
Because, like, there's not even another student you see. There's no one walking in the background who also happens to be black. So, like, he's the only black person, and I think that's what they were trying to get at.
Okay.
But without saying it. But she bleeds onto a picture of him and chanting about how, like, she wants his energy and his love and to, like, give it out into the universe and bring it back to me and blah, 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 blah. And then she burns his picture and a picture of herself.
Okay.
Okay. Next, we are outside of a school 2 days before Valentine's comes up on the screen.
Cool.
And we see Duncan Jones, the teacher.
Okay.
That she just, or the black-eyed teacher.
Oh.
That she burned a picture of, yeah. Apparently, everybody in the school has a crush on him.
Is he cute?
He's fairly handsome.
Okay.
No, he's handsome. He's handsome. Not fairly. He's handsome.
Okay.
And is the man in the picture that she burned in the last scene. And he enters the classroom of Helen Drake, another teacher, and you instantly can tell that he's like,
hey,
hi,
Helen.
Yeah. And she looks up and she's like, oh, hi,
the Helen
Duncan.
movie.
Yeah, I know.
It's funny.
But she's like, oh, Mr. Jones, but like also not. Like, I'm pretty sure she's Scottish.
Okay.
So, because you know how like a lot of them just kind of intermingle there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure she's Scottish, but she a couple of times says something that's kind of Britishy, but I'm pretty sure it's just kind of like their dialect of like, anyway. He, for this whole part of the movie, is not British.
Okay.
Okay? He
the
becomes
first time
British
we
later.
meet him,
yeah.
he is not. Okay.
He's not British.
Cool.
He does not talk in a British accent. At all. Okay?
No.
So he wants to know if she has plans for Valentine's Day, or for the Valentine's Day ball that I guess is going to be done on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Mr. Jones, how are you today?
Very well, very well. I was wondering your plans for the Valentine's Day ball.
And he's like, I could be your drinking buddy. And she's like, are you insinuating that we should be drinking while I'm chaperoning a dance of high school students? And he's like, no, I mean after the dance kind of a thing.
Ooh.
And she's like, well, you know, perhaps. And he goes, well, listen, I'm going to be at the school anyway. And I'm like, you only have one teacher who's going to be chaperoning this damn dance?
That's not
like,
enough.
No, most of the time when they have a dance, it's like a lot of teachers there.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, hey, every teacher,
Yes.
you're coming.
sorry you signed up for this. Like,
There's a lot of students that need to be separated.
Yep.
We need
Bible
room
length
for
between-
Jesus.
Yep. Yeah, she was like, I thought you had the night off. And he's like, no, I have to be here because the principal, Harper, wants us to get their semester grades in before spring break.
Okay.
Right? And she goes, that's so not on.
What?
And I guess it's British lingo or whatever.
Okay.
We always have spring break to finish their grades. And he goes, try telling that to Harper. He just wants it out early. Like, he wants it before they go.
Leave,
and I was like, I mean, yeah.
That makes sense.
They didn't,
If that's the end of the semester, then...
then I want my grades.
I guess,
Yeah. Because I'm not going to go, like, I'm going to be freaking out the rest of spring break being like,
What did I get?
Yeah,
What did
like,
I do?
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're both kind of laughing for a second, just kind of flirting a little bit more. And he leans in to kiss her. But obviously they're interrupted by another teacher right at that moment,
Of
you know.
course.
The teacher comes in, this woman comes in and goes, sorry, Mr. Jones, but one of your students got gum in her hair. And I was like, oh man, that poor grade schooler, that sucks.
This is high school.
This is high school.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it was high school for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I just thought like Duncan was the teacher and like that's,
Yeah.
you know, he's just a teacher. That's who he is. No, it's a high school.
Cool.
Yep.
What?
I don't know.
How?
But my favorite though is I'm like, and you couldn't help her?
Yeah.
Like,
Be like, this is not a job for
Yeah.
me. Thank you very much.
right? I mean, this is a high school where the students move from class to class, but you know, she's your student, so you need to
Maybe
like,
they have like a homeroom
maybe
teacher kind of
Maybe.
situation.
that would probably be it. But like, yeah. So he was like, next time, and leaves. And I don't know why she couldn't handle it herself. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we see.
Also, why couldn't the schooler handle it herself?
Exactly. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know why she couldn't do it.
Right.
Like they show her next
You're at
scene.
least 14.
Yeah.
You're fine.
They were at least like. I think they were trying to portray them as like maybe 16 or 17.
Okay.
So
Deal with your own shit.
I
girl.
know. But they're in the
Come
bathroom and we see Faye, the girl performing the ritual from before, and her best friend Matt, who is totally straight, not gay at all. I promise I'm into girls' best friend.
Okay. In
Okay.
the bathroom with her?
Yes.
Cool.
Smoking. And he's my favorite character.
Okay.
Like, so the gay ones always tend to be.
I
But
mean, yeah.
he's yeah. Yeah, he's totally not gay. And
I don't believe you.
I don't believe him either. But he's insistent that he's not. Anyway.
That's how you know.
Exactly, yeah. So May really does have gum in her hair, but it's like right here, and she's like, ow, 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 like yanking out. They're not trying to wash it out. They're not trying
Just
to
cut
do
it.
shit. Yeah.
Just cut it.
It's barely in her hair. And I'm like, you know what helps? Literally going to the kitchen and being like, hey, sorry, can I have some olive oil?
Or an ice cube.
Yeah.
Or peanut butter.
Or anything.
Anything with oil.
Yep. He'll get that right out. Like,
Yeah.
But she's being stupid about it. So Matt is smoking and calling the girl who put the gum in her hair a total bitch, right?
Yeah.
And Duncan comes into the girls' bathroom. Like, into the girls' bathroom, okay?
Just a party.
Just,
in here.
yeah, right? And calls Matt out for smoking and tells him that it's, it's not good for you. He's like, I'm not smoking. I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, it's not good for you and it doesn't make your voice lower. And Matt goes, really? It's the only reason I was doing it. Well, anyway, this is the girls' toilet, ladies only. I'm not going to do his British accent because...
Thank you.
Yep. And I was like, how is that not him saying he's gay?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah.
But like, because there's a lot of guys that are like, oh, I'm one of the girls, like that's just how some of them are, and I don't know. Anyway.
Also, you're taking up this addictive habit just in hopes that it makes your voice lower?
I'm like...
Or was that sarcasm?
No. He was like, I don't think it was sarcasm. He did have a pretty higher pitched voice. So like...
Poor guy.
I know. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he really thought like, oh, I'll sound more manly if my voice is lower and
maybe
stuff.
Just wait another year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows?
Anyway, so Duncan jokes. He's like, hey, I'm one of the girls. Well, go on. I need to talk to Faye. And Matt's like, okay, bye. And like leaves.
How about just like, hey, come to my office?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And like,
Okay.
Anyway. But Faye is standing there the whole time, like kind of off to the side, like,
It's the teacher.
Yeah, and I'm like, shut up. So he goes up and he's like, listen, I can help you if you just tell me who's bullying you. And she's like, no, I'm fine. Like, she's obviously one of those, like, I don't want to get in more trouble. And I'm
Do something about your bullies.
I know. It makes me so mad. I've said it before and I will say it again. If you don't do anything, they're gonna keep continuing. Yeah. And everyone's like, yeah, but it'll be worse. And I'm like, not if they're in juvie.
Not if they're fucking expelled.
Yeah.
So,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get so mad. Anyway, and he's like, listen, if this is Elise and she's still bullying you, like, you need to let me know and I can do something about it, right? Just then, Elise, walking down the hallway, I don't know if she overheard them talking in the bathroom, because I couldn't hear them talking, but she stops and peeks into the bathroom and can hear them talking.
That's why we don't have this conversation
but
out in the open.
The way this bathroom is set up, here's the school hallway, okay? Here's the door that goes in. And then it curves around the corner over here. And I'm pretty sure it's one of those, like, privacy things where you can't just see right into the bathroom.
The long hallway.
Yeah, and a super long hallway. I don't understand who designed these buildings. Because, again, it's a scary movie.
British.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It made no sense. Every single bathroom looked like it was a locker room. And I don't know. I'll take pictures of it. But anyway. So Elise peeks in, hearing the two of them talking, and hears that the teacher's like, listen, I can help you. If it's Elise and her cronies, just let me know. Yeah. And she's like, you can't do shit about anything because I'm Elise. And she was the best actress in the show. And I wanted to punch her so hard.
So she did her job.
She did so fucking good. Nice. Okay. But everything about her, I was like, people, if there is literally a real person out there that acts like this, arrest them.
Yeah.
Like,
just straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Yep. And I always feel like they try to, like, hype up this kind of a person to make you, like, hate them even more kind of thing. Like,
they make it terrible.
They do. Anyway, so Faye is, like, not wanting to get in more trouble. She says that she's fine. But the bell rings and she's like, well, I better get to class. And he's like, yep, English next with me. Bye-bye, and, like, leaves, He goes out into the hallway and sees Elise walking off, and he's like, hey, you, fucking leave her alone or I'm gonna cancel your Valentine's Day dance, right? Because she's in charge of it. Oh, okay. And she's like, hanging out in the girls, again, she's not British, Faye's British, but Elise isn't British.
What? I mean, I know that people can live in other places, but, like, consistency.
Yeah, but also Faye isn't, like, completely British either. Like, she has, like, a hint of a British accent. The only, like, British person in the movie is Matt.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like,
okay.
He's very British.
Does the teacher have an accent yet?
Not yet. Still not yet.
Okay.
So she was like, hanging out in the girls' toilet doesn't look good. If I said you caught me in there unclothed, I think I could get you sacked. And I'm like...
So is it a locker room?
I don't know. But, because I'm like, why would you be unclothed in a bathroom?
Yeah.
That other female teacher knew he was going into the girls' bathroom.
True.
So, like, I would have been like, yeah, pretty innocent for that. Like, I just told you there was gum in her hair. Why else would you go in the bathroom? Like, anyway, yeah. And then blows him a kiss and walks away. And he's very much just like, well, she put me in my place kind of a thing. And I'm like, I guarantee
You're
you,
the teacher.
I would immediately have gone to the principal and been like, listen, I'm on her case. She's threatening to, like, come to you guys and say I'm doing things. I'm just letting you know right now,
Yeah.
I'm not doing things.
Yeah.
So, like, if she comes to you,
Yep.
transparency.
Yeah.
Transparency. It just makes me so mad. Anyway, so in Duncan's class, they're talking about Romeo and Juliet.
Of course.
And, like, kind of gives Faye a little smile, just like, good to see you in class. Like, good job for being here.
But she's
right?
like, ha.
Yeah, she very much is like, she leans over to Matt and she's like, I think my spell is working. And he's like, oh, not this magic stuff again. Shut up about it, right? Like, hates it, you know?
Yeah.
And she's kind of like, okay. So Duncan looks over and sees that Elise and her friend Britt are very much, like, sitting front row, just like,
Let me sit in the back if you're gonna fucking...
right?
Come on.
Yeah. And so he was like, Elise, how about you can explain to me and I don't remember what it was exactly, but some deep cultural significance of Shakespeare, you know,
Sure.
and Romeo and Juliet and everything.
Yeah.
And because she wasn't paying attention, I've read Romeo and Juliet. I don't fucking know what he just asked. So,
No.
Anyway. And she doesn't know. Well, the whole class laughs at her for it. And I'm like, even Faye kind of chuckles, you know, because, I mean, that's your bully getting, like, kind of put down and stuff. Like, of course you'd chuckle. And Elise is like, I won't stand for this kind of a thing. So she sees the teacher's phone sitting on his desk.
Okay.
And she steals it after class.
Okay.
Yep. And at lunch, she shows her other friends the phone and everything, and they're like, what's that? And she's like,
Okay.
One of Britt, who was in class with her, was like, oh, is that Mr. Jones's phone? She's also British, but, like, not very. So she's, like, light Brit. And, but her name is Britt. Anyway.
Yep.
So she's like, oh my gosh, that's her phone. And Elise is like, does anyone have Faye's number? So they start texting Faye later that day.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Faye and Matt are talking, and he goes, so you think chanting a few online spells is going to get him to fall in love with you? Okay. She was reading her spell out of a book that was handwritten. Okay. So either she wrote it herself,
Like,
after,
copied it,
like,
yeah.
copied it down, but she's, like, surprised to find some spells in it later. Okay. So
that makes no sense.
right? So either she bought this damn thing on eBay, or
Maybe it's one of those things where she was walking through a bookstore and it just fell out in front of her and it was fate. And
I guess, but they never say that, so she just happens to have this fucking book, right?
I like my version better.
Yes. So she insists that he's different now. She's like, yeah, didn't you see how he was acting with me earlier? No, because he wasn't in the bathroom with you. So, like,
True.
But he was like, Mr. Jones is the most charismatic person going. Everyone loves him. Heck, even I love him a bit. I'd turn gay for him.
Yeah.
Liar! Liar! Like,
you can't turn into something you already
yeah.
are.
And I don't, maybe he's bi, but, like,
But still. Then you still don't have to turn.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay.
If everyone watched this movie, they'd understand what I meant. Like, everything about him, like, I don't know if he's actually gay in real life. I went to look it up because I could only find him on Twitter, but that's the vibes I was getting.
Played it very well.
He played it very well. Yep. And he was like, besides, you and a teacher, that's a bad situation. Like,
That's an illegal situation.
yeah. And he was like, you should go for someone your own age. And she goes, like who? There's no one. And he kind of, like, looks dejected down. Very much just kind of like, yeah, there's nobody here in this school that could ever possibly be good enough for you, apparently, Faye. Yeah. But, like, my favorite thing is she doesn't even, like, talk to anyone else. Like, not at all. Okay. So that scene ends. And we see Faye walking into her house to her mother banging some guy on a couch.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
And the mother's like, oh, shit! I'm like, but Faye runs upstairs to her room, as, you know, she would. And the mom runs up to the door. Faye locks herself in and sits with her back to it. The mom goes, Faye, honey, it's Mom. No shit, bitch. Like, no, I thought it was the naked guy on my couch.
So much.
Like,
so much.
Yep.
Shit.
Yep. So she apologized and she's like, I didn't think you'd be home early. It was kind of a heat of the moment thing. And I was like, you own this house.
Yeah.
You have a bedroom.
Yeah.
You know.
Take the heat of the moment upstairs.
Yep.
Thank you.
And we learn out of this whole little thing that Faye's dad died recently. Or at least, like, possibly a year ago kind of a thing. Like, just
still recent enough.
Yeah, still recent enough. And that the mom's like trying to move on, and Faye is like, you really think dad would be okay with this? This is the first Valentine's Day since his passing, and you hook up with a dad from one of the girls at my school. You know she's bullying me for it, right?
Oh,
Today she put gum in my hair.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. The mom again tells her, you just need to move on, honey. It's not healthy. Not, you're being bullied? I'm gonna go stab this girl.
Let me go fucking do something about it because I'm your mother.
She does nothing. She says
Move
nothing.
on.
She's like, oh, I'm gonna go talk to him then. Like, I would go downstairs and you'd immediately hear me like, your daughter is bullying my daughter?
Yeah,
like,
get out.
Get out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. Or you go tell her right now she needs to knock it the hell off. Like,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna fucking stab
Be
her.
a good dad.
Yeah. And it just, I don't know. I guess he's a lawyer, but we only find that out later, and it's stupid.
Okay.
We never see him again. Or the mom.
Okay.
That's it. They're done.
Okay.
And she's like, well, I'll bring dinner to your door. Okay.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. So Faye's phone goes off right then, and she gets a text from Mr. Jones.
So did she like leave school? Like school was not done?
I don't know. I think it was the end of the day. Like,
Okay.
school skips around so much.
Okay.
Like, they just don't care about school. So she gets a text from him, and they, like, have the word bubbles pop up on screen and stuff.
Yeah.
And what, like, really frustrated the hell out of me is the first word bubble popped up. This is, hey, ... and sat there for, like, 5 seconds. Okay? Like, a good, like, hey, okay.
Okay.
The next word bubble that pops up is, like, 3 lines long and goes away after 5 seconds. And I'm like, I couldn't read that. Like, it's, I had to rewind to read it, and it was basically just like, hey, I felt a connection with you today and stuff. This is Mr. Jones, by the way. And she was like, oh my gosh, okay, I felt it too, and like texting back and stuff. And just they flirt for a minute longer, and he's like, listen, I'm gonna be doing paperwork in my classroom tomorrow, like every teacher does.
Yeah.
And he's like, you should come see me and make a move.
Oh no.
And that you should call me Duncan.
What a fucking bitch.
Right? And then she's like, yeah, okay, I can do that. And then he goes, yeah, you should send me a picture. So she sends him a pretty innocent one of just her, like, you know. Selfie. And he's like, you're really cute, but I was hoping for something a little more.
Oh god.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, I just can't help myself. Which obviously this isn't him, but like.
Yeah, but
yeah.
still.
So she takes off her shirt and sends him a picture of her in her bra. And that's end of scene. Okay. We are now at Elisa's house, and she's sitting on her bed with her 2 crony friends and her much older boyfriend. And they're laughing about how bad she looks in the picture. They're like, she looks so constipated, ha ha ha, like all this stuff, right?
Okay.
And the boyfriend is like, why are you being so mean to that girl? And the Faye goes, because she's a slut who has it coming. Oh no, that she and her mom are little sluts that had it coming.
Okay.
And I'm like, I would be ruining a mom's
2
life.
to tango.
Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you very much. Okay.
Anyway.
Weird.
And he goes, you're so sexy. And then, like, starts making out with her. And her friends are like, there's more people in the room.
Okay, so how did that go from, why are you being such a bitch, to, it's so sexy when you're a bitch?
I don't know. I have no idea. I really wish that he would have stuck to his guns and been like, I think you guys need to knock it off. Like,
that's what I thought was going to happen, was a nice boyfriend.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Her friends are like, what are you going to do with the pictures? And she goes, wait and see, bitches. And I'm like, I know exactly who you are as a person because of that line.
Yeah.
So the next day at school, One Day to Valentine's Day appears on the screen, and this scene frustrates me to my very core.
Okay.
My entire being was shook with this scene, okay? So they walk in. Duncan walks in to a fairly busy office. You can see people behind him, a few, like, I mean, if they're trying to be quiet, they probably wouldn't have noticed. They were quite a ways, like, a good, I don't know, they'd probably be standing in my kitchen from here, kind of a thing. So if they were listening closely, they could probably hear what I was saying. But, like, anyway. So he comes up to Helen, offering her a rose. And we get to see this, like, the view of Helen. There's a woman right behind her making coffee. Okay? Like, she's 3 feet away. Okay? And Helen kind of does this, like, look around like no one's there kind of. I don't know if she didn't know the woman was behind her or whatever. Not that the woman...
Her peripheral vision was just real low.
Yeah. Anyway, so he gives her a red rose. Right? And stuff. And she goes, oh, so you ignore my text but bring me a rose? Nice one. And he was like, I lost my phone. I have no idea where it is. I sent you an email about it. And she was like, well, anyway. And just like ignores that. And he's like, I ordered a new phone. It should be here soon. I don't know if he just gets his other phone back later or whatever. I don't fucking know. Anyway. So he was like, so the dance is tomorrow and he's going to be here anyway. Maybe he can come say hi to her and to her chaperoning the dance and stuff. And she goes, I love it, I really do, but what if someone comes in and sees this going down, okay?
In the entire faculty room of...
The woman is right
there.
behind her, okay? Duncan replies, come on, no one's around, take the rose. As the woman walks past him.
Poor
like,
Janet is like, nobody sees me.
Yeah, like, just, is she a ghost? I don't fucking know. Just like, she's walking past them, and you can tell that the actor was like,
Hi.
I just said this line with this woman walking past, are you like, they couldn't be bothered to, like, have him wait for half a second to have her walk past and be like, come on, no one's here now, like, take it. No, she's walking past them as he says it.
Nobody's around.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
Poor Janet.
Yep. Anyway, so she kind of, like, takes the rose after a second. She's like, I'm just glad it isn't plastic.
Okay.
Helen, damn
We'll
it.
hurt you.
Okay, yeah. Right? Well, right then, their principal walks in, and he's like, you two lovebirds at it again? And they're like, what?
No, that's lovers.
That's so hot.
So
And
obviously he's not upset by it.
no, and he straight up is just like, come on, everybody knows about you two. I really don't care. Keep it off campus. Like, and when this eventually does go south, leave it at the gate.
Don't have
I
sex in the utility
Yeah,
closet.
like,
We're
just,
good. Like,
I don't, don't.
when this eventually goes south.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I loved this principal though. They show so many principals that are like super stuck up and like rude.
Awful.
Or they're like the worst principal ever. Like they're like a fucking
Stupid
joke.
and yeah.
He was a good principal. Anyway, so he's just like, yeah, just keep your hands off each other. The next scene, Faye opens up her school locker, finding a note saying, see you in my office this evening, and there's a rose with it, right?
Oh, boy.
And she's like, oh my gosh. Well, Matt walks up right behind her, and he goes, have you been asked to the Valentine's Day dance? And she was like, what? No. Like, just putting everything away. And he was like, well, hey, why don't we go together? Like the old days when we didn't have anybody else.
Because we still don't.
Yeah, like, and she was like, that was like the 7th grade, and he was like, okay, so, and
So
she was,
no?
yeah, and she's like, well, I'm just not gonna go to the dance anyway, and he's like, well, come on, just come for me, like, it'll be fun if we go together, like, and she's like, no, I'm not going to. Well, the bell rings, and she's like, bye, and like hurries off to class, and I'm like, you treat your friend like shit.
Yeah, Matt, leave.
Yeah, Matt, go get someone
Go find
else.
someone else.
Yep. So he like sees her walk away and is just like, stupid. Oh, like he's very much upset that he like said the wrong thing, and I'm like,
it's not your fault, bro.
yep. In the gym later, Elise and her cronies are decorating for the dance, and just mostly balloons.
Okay.
Like that's but they're all just sitting around laughing about this, and I don't know if the moment was that because her guy friend. I found out way later his name is Daryl. It isn't until like way later in the movie that they say his name, okay? So Daryl is like, that video could go viral, right? And she's like, that's the point. And he's like, yeah, but that could get Mr. Jones fired. And I'm like, what?
What video?
What video are we talking about? And so she records the video later, but I'm like, is she being like, oh, I'm going to try to record them doing something, and then I'm going to post it online, and him being like, I don't think you should.
Don't do
like,
that, yeah.
Yeah, like, anyway.
Preeminent,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's, I don't know, because there wasn't a video yet.
Nope.
But she's like on her laptop showing them things. And so I just, I don't know. But my favorite too is that her laptop is very clearly a MacBook, okay?
Yeah.
But they have like electrical tape taped all the way up, like covering the logo in
Just
the middle.
like put a cute sticker on it, like
Right?
everyone else in the movie.
Everyone
world.
else, yeah, no, it's like strips of electrical tape, like look like a star kind of.
Yeah, like coming out.
Yeah.
Starburst kind of situation.
But like it very much just looks like somebody put electrical tape over it. So like,
okay. It's edgy, okay?
So edgy, yep. Helen comes in right then, and she's like, Elise, I want to talk to you for a minute. And they just cat back and forth. Like, they're just so catty to each other, back and forth for a little bit. The teacher's really catty to her, too.
Okay.
Because Elise is like, can I help you with something? And she's like, listen, I know you're still bullying Faye you're still bullying Faye, and you and your friends need to knock it off, or I'm going to cancel this dance, kind of a thing. And they're just going back and forth for a minute, and Elise is, oh, well, okay, thanks for the, comment.
Thanks
okay,
for
bye.
checking in.
Mm-hmm. Bye. Bye.
I mean, I don't know if I could control myself around her either.
Oh, no.
I'd probably be a bitch back, too.
I would get fired.
Listen, bitch.
Yep. There's this scene from Pretty Little Liars, okay, way in the end of the show, where they have the blind character. I don't know if you ever watched Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah,
but
I watched the first, 4 seasons.
okay, so
before it got bad, that's how far
no,
I
it's all
watched
bad.
it.
It's all bad. Anyway, so Jenna
Yeah.
is the blind one, and she is working at the school. She's like a music teacher at the school now. And it's like the new generation of Alison De Laurentiis kind of thing,
Right.
back when Alison was a major bitch and stuff. and she's trying to make fun of Jenna for being blind to her friends and like waves her hand in front of her face. And Jenna snatches her hand out of nowhere and is just like, I may be blind, but I can smell a bitch a mile away. And I was like, get her, Jenna! Like, you basically tried to kill some people, but like, good for Jenna.
It's fine.
Oh yeah. Queen Jenna over there. Anyway, so later, they get a text from Faye on Duncan's phone that she's on her way to his class, right?
Oh,
and I don't know if this is after school.
Seems like it should be.
It seems like it should be, unless they're like lunchtime doing it. I don't know. Anyway, the whole time she's talking to Duncan, they're giggling and running down the hallway. Like, oh, let's go catch them kind of a thing. I'm like, I'm glad you got there in time because like you were going up and down stairs and like around. Like, I just...
Okay.
Anyway.
Drama.
Just drama. Yeah, and just laughing and giggling the whole time. But she walks in and Duncan is very like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, just writing on the,
working,
And she's like, how's the grading going? And he's like, it's pretty good. I haven't graded yours yet, though. I'll get to it when I can, right? And he's over here just like...
being normal.
Yeah, and
if
she's...
it was me, I would be like...
holding the rose, just like...
Uh,
like, super awkward still, but like...
like, if he was acting that way toward me, I would feel shut down.
Oh, yeah.
I would be like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But she's in her mind, the whole, like, make a move thing.
True.
Like, so right as they get there and start, like, filming on her phone, she leans in and, like, she puts her hand on his shoulder and he's like,
What are you doing?
what are you doing? I would have been like, excuse you? Like, what are you doing?
Hands off.
Don't touch me.
Ma'am?
Like, but she puts her hand on his shoulder and then leans in to kiss him and he immediately pulls back.
Yeah.
And is like, no.
Good teacher.
No. Just like very like, oh no. Like, and she, mortified, was running out of there, right? And, she said, I thought you liked me. That's what she says first. And he was like,
not like that.
And she just, runs out. Okay. Yeah. And I don't know if I don't think she ran into Elise and her friends in the hallway. I think they snuck away before that, but like, anyway. But back in the gym, Elise is uploading the video to her computer and stuff. And the boy is telling her, or Daryl, sorry, I didn't go back and fix it. It was just the boy. Tells her that she's going to get expelled. And her other friends are like, you're so terrible. And he's over here like,
you're stupid.
Like, but not only that, okay. I just want everyone to be aware. Faye is underage.
Yeah.
Okay. You solicited a picture from an underage person.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Faye distributed it to you, so Faye would also get in trouble.
Yeah.
But, like, you asked for this, and later she posts the pictures around the school. That is then distribution of child pornography.
Yeah. This is 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
Like...
those are 2 felonies.
Yeah.
We're not talking expulsion, we're talking jail time.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't, no.
Yeah.
I just wish Faye had mentioned the text messages to him while she was there.
I know.
Like, but what about the text?
Yeah.
Or like something, so he could be like, guess what, my phone's gone. Guess what? Someone has my phone. Like,
no, there's no communication because
been so much easier.
My least favorite trope ever. The only time miscommunication is good is if it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's in anything else,
comedy of errors.
I hate it. Yeah. I hate it otherwise. There's all the romances where there's miscommunication. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
They like walk past and they see something and they're like, oh, it must mean this devastating thing. And you're like, no.
Yep. It's awful.
Just
there's
ask.
this one anime that I super love. It's on Hulu. You should watch it. It's called Kimi ni Todoke.
Okay.
Which means from me to you. And the whole time, there's a whole bunch of miscommunication tropes that happen, but the main love interest, like, keeps showing up and is like, hey, what did you mean by that? And she's like, what? He's like, you just said that you admired me. What do you mean by that? And she's like, I just think you're an amazing person. He's like, oh, cool. You want to be friends?
Good to know.
And she's like, yeah, let's be friends and stuff. Or like other things happen. And he's like, did you talk to her though? And they were like, well, no. And he's like, then go talk to her. And they're like, well, what are we supposed to? He's like, go ask her what she meant by these things. Yeah, and like he's the whole time just like, nope, immediately shut this down. Like he is not the type to be like, oh, I guess I'll just stew in my feelings. Like they do for about like 2 episodes, and it was like killing me because he's the type to always be like, well, what does that mean? Yeah. And he thought he clarified with her, but she thought she clarified with him, and like it was just,
gotcha.
You're speaking the same language and they don't understand what they're saying to each other. So like, anyway. I just hate the miscommunication trope. Anyway, so they're like, oh my gosh, you're just so terrible. And Helen comes in and she's like, what are you terrible about now? Kind of, And she's like, Elise is like, oh, you know, we're just decorating for the dance. I just emailed you a set list of the songs, by the way, you know. Yeah. And Helen's like, you know, your grades have really been slipping, so I really don't think you should be focusing on this dance right now. Like, all of you guys should be getting your grades up, kind of a thing. And Elise is like, well, if you're not here to help us, you should really leave us to it. Thanks, bye.
Bitch.
I know. And I'm like...
Be like, principal, now.
Yeah.
Go, get out of my face.
But she doesn't. So Helen just kind of like, and leaves.
You have the power here.
I know.
You're a teacher.
You are an adult. Like, okay. So later on at a bar...
Question mark?
It's like a very like spacious like sitting like lounge, but not a lounge. Like there's a table to one side, and then Duncan and Helen are sitting at like a couple of chairs, just sitting at chair. Like I'll take a picture of it. Okay. But it looks like it would be a fairly nicer bar if there was just more to
tables
it. Like it just I don't know.
Okay.
Yep. So they're sitting there and they're having a drink together, and they're talking about Faye kissing him, right? Yeah. And she's like, you should go to the principal and like clear this all up and stuff. You could lose your job if this comes out, you know? And he's like, I just don't want her to get into trouble and stuff, you know? He's like, I have no idea why she thought this way, because again, he doesn't know that his phone had been stolen and stuff, you know? And he's like, I don't want her to get in trouble. And she reminds me of myself when I was in school, because I was an outcast kind of a thing. And I think that's where the whole, because I'm the only black person apparently in this entire universe, like... And he's like, besides, it's just kind of a crush. Like, she'll get over it, you know? Yeah. And Helen's like, well, all the girls in the school have a crush on you. And he's like, just the girls?
All of them?
Yeah. And she's like, you know? And they flirt for a minute. Well, back at home, Faye is flipping through her book of spells and sees the spell for the destruction of love. And that's it. Leaves it at that. Just says destruction of love. And she's just like, oh. Does she do it right then? No. I guess it's just her being like,
I found the way.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Anyway. So the next day in school, it's Valentine's Day now, right? Duncan is teaching. Britt, Elisa's friend, comes in and she's like, Valentine's Day cards. And he's like, okay, pass them out. Like, you know, take a second to pass them out. And so she's like, here you go. Ooh, not for you. And like, the whole time I was just like,
none for you.
None for you. You go, Glenn Coco.
Yeah, exactly.
None for Gretchen Wieners.
None for Gretchen Wieners, that's what it is.
But she goes, Faye, even you got one, and like hands it over to her, right? And this card is red, very red, in a slightly dark classroom because they had the projector up, okay?
Okay.
I had to zoom in on the computer to see what it said because it's black ink on a
red.
dark red, yeah. And I'm like, they couldn't have even used a gel pen? Like, come on, people, you know.
A pink paper?
Something.
Okay.
Anyway, so she opens it up, and Matt is like, who do you think that's from? Right?
She just handed it to you, right? No.
Well, it's, it's like the secret Valentine's.
I'm confused.
But there's no, like, name on it. So, like, it's just they handed her a Valentine. She's like, yes, someone sent you a Valentine.
So Elise didn't bring Valentines for the whole class.
No, Britt was bringing them in, like, they've been set around, like the carnations that they do and stuff.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
that
okay,
kind
okay,
of a stuff.
okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
So Matt's like, who do you think sent that to you, you know? And Faye opens it up, and it says, let me take you to the ball tonight, okay? And she glares at Duncan and rips it up, okay? And I'm like...
As if.
So I'm like, you are not getting gaslit here, girl. Not by him, like that's... Anyway.
Yeah.
But she's like super upset about it. Anyway. And while everyone is distracted by their cards and stuff, Britt sneaks over and pops a flash drive into Duncan's computer and then grabs the remote that he uses for the slideshow, right?
Yeah.
Or for the projector. And he's got his back to it and is just kind of like, okay, everyone, let's go back to teaching and stuff. And says something snarky to Faye, or not Faye, to Elise about, like, she needs to be paying attention. And she's like, continue teaching. And I've been like, continue going to the principal's office, get the fuck out of my class.
Walk your ass. Oh, yeah, exactly.
No one, like, punishes her for anything. That's the thing that frustrates the hell out of me.
Also, so, we find out that the Valentine was from Matt? Because it's from Matt, right?
So...
Okay, sorry. Jumping ahead.
You're okay. But it's totally from Matt.
Okay.
Because, like, why would he have asked, you know? Yeah. Like... So yeah, so there he goes on kind of teaching and stuff, and Britt hits play on the projector, and Elise and Britt start like, oh my gosh, what is that? What's going on? And because everyone else is like
writing,
taking notes, and then they look up and they see the video. Duncan turns around and is like, oh shit, like immediately, oh fuck no, you know. Faye is like, oh
dead.
No, gets
immediately
up,
dead,
runs out of the room. Elise trips her. And is like just being a snarky catty bitch about it, right?
Jeez.
So Faye runs out into the hallway, and that's where she sees her pictures of her topless or just in her bra posted all over the hall, right?
That's not okay.
And I'm like, felony. It is a felony for every picture you post, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
It can be the same picture, but multiple, like it's,
yeah.
I don't know how they do it exactly in England, but like.
Not good.
Felony still, I'm sure.
Jail time.
Jail time, yeah. So Elise and her cronies follow her out into the hallway and start like, oh, gee, blah, blah, blah,
I wonder who did this.
Yeah. And maybe you shouldn't be such a slut and just all that stuff, right?
Literally never in her life.
Yep.
Never have I ever been a slut.
Right. Well, Faye turns around, punches her in the face.
Yes.
Yep. So Elise starts, oh, fuck you! Like, goes at her, and they're grabbing hair and grappling and stuff. Screaming at each other and everything. Well, Helen hears this and comes running out of her classroom. Duncan hears it too, so he comes running out of his classroom. And Helen grabs Faye and pulls her back. And Duncan is very much like, blocking Elise because she's still trying to go back. And she's like, she fucking started it. She hit me in the face.
No, bitch.
Blah, blah, blah. Right?
You started this
forever
ago.
And so Faye, really upset, turns and like runs past them all. And she's like, you're just gonna let her get away with this? And Helen is like, absolutely not. Faye, get back here. But she doesn't come back because, Yeah. But like, this actress that plays Elise was so good right here because she's like, this is child abuse. You can't do this to me. Like, my dad's a lawyer. I'm gonna sue the shit out of you. Fuck, I broke a nail. Like,
she just reminds me of like grown-up Angelica Pickles.
Kinda. Like
just the worst.
Yeah, if you really, I'm gonna like record some of her scenes so you can see her being snarky, but like, yeah. Oh, but my favorite thing too about this is that we see this hallway, and I don't know if like the school let them film because it was summer. There's chalkboards all in the hallway. Like, it looks like the janitors are like moving everything out of the room so they can
maybe
clean
it's
it.
it's like almost spring break.
Maybe
that makes no sense.
But like, I'm pretty sure it was just because they were letting them film like in summer because it should be cold in England this time of year, and it's not. And
all the year round.
Like, but like, anyway, but yeah, I was just okay. Anyway, so Duncan, now British, yells about how the school dance is canceled. No more dance, right?
I want to see
At this moment, I was like,
what?
Now you're British? Like, okay. Like, I would totally understand if he was like, well, I was kind of an outcast because I came from America. Now I'm here kind of with it. Like, that's why I'm not British. But, like, for the rest of the movie, he kind of sort of maybe has a British accent. What? But also not. Like, yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah, he cancels the dance. Faye runs and hides in the science room, pulling out her bag. Did she have her bag before? I don't know. I don't know where she got it.
It was, like, in her locker?
Maybe? I don't know. I don't think she had it on her, but she could have grabbed it. It could have been in her locker. I'm not sure. But she pulls out a few candles and her spell book, and she lights all the candles. I don't know why she takes her candles to school with her, but...
Just in case.
Yep. So she says the spell to summon the god of death. Okay. It is a very long spell, and I didn't want to write the whole thing down.
I thought we were doing destruction of love, not fucking fuck shit up.
Well, the god of death, like, has a deal, basically, with Cupid to, like, be the destruction of love. Anyway.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know. So she summons the god of death, right? And suddenly the room goes pitch black. Her candlelight slowly just goes down to like barely a hint of a light, And behind her is this big, tall, hooded figure with comically long fingers that just like wrap around her neck.
Ew.
Yep.
Ugh.
And just kind of like he was like around her neck the whole time, just kind of like, and goes, "Thou summoned me here." In this like super spooky voice, and proceeds for the rest of the conversation. Thou this, thou that. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure the Roman god of death doesn't say thee and thou. Like, it just... Okay. It's a very Catholic thing. Anyway, so she's like, they talk back and forth for a good minute about how she's like, she doesn't want to grant any more love in this school. To anyone in this school.
Right. Fuck everybody.
Grant love is what she says.
That's a weird way to say it.
Yeah. And he just was like, dost thou understand the consequences? And she's like, yes, I do. And he's like,
no, you don't.
Yeah. And like,
the book didn't say anything about it.
Shit, right? And like, I'm over here thinking like, maybe she thought that it was just this spell that would just go across the school that nobody could love anymore, right?
But still.
Not
that everyone would die.
I know. And he goes on for like, dost thou understand this? Dost thou understand that? And stuff. And she's like, yes, I want it. Or she says she does, and she wants it destroyed. And he says he'll summon a demon to help her. For the 24 hours of Valentine's, love will last no more. But it's like already in the afternoon. So, like, is it just because it's Valentine's Day that is the 24 hours? Or is it 24 hours from right now?
Yeah.
Or is it like, I'm guessing
you only get 8 more hours?
I think it's just that you only get 8 more hours kind of a thing.
Okay.
So, like, yeah. So she agrees, and the dark figure vanishes, and her candles blow out. And right then the light clicks on, and Matt is, like, coming into the classroom, and he's like, Faye, the principal's looking for you. Like, what the hell's going on? And stuff, you know? And she turns around and just kind of sees him. He's like, listen, I'm really sorry about that video. Like, I just, you know... She brushes past him and runs off. Aww. And I'm like, stop being a fucking bitch to your best friend. Like, right. So in the principal's office, he is having absolutely none of Elisa's shit. None. And I'm like, get her. Fucking get her, principal. Like, just, it was really good. And she was like, I want to know where you have proof that this is even me doing this. And he's like, do not try to deny it. Are you fucking kidding me? You know, like, and she's like, okay, so what? I filmed some dumb girl trying to get with her teacher. Where's the crime in that? It's the 21st century. I have the right to film pretty much whatever I want, okay? I looked it up. In England, yeah, you can do that. You can just film people.
Okay.
The only time you basically can't film someone is when they're supposed to have a reasonable expectation of privacy, which basically comes down to you filming them in the bathroom.
Okay.
You could be standing on the street looking into their house, and if their window blinds are open, that's them not expecting privacy.
That doesn't seem right.
That's
okay.
like, from what I gathered. I could be wrong, but that's what I gathered when I like looked it up, okay? It's not like that in the States.
No. But also, like, okay, filming is one thing, but the distribution of it?
Yeah.
Like, no.
That's totally different. And she's like, how do you know this is me? We found his cell phone on you. You have the teacher's cell phone.
So, yeah.
Yeah, of course it was you and stuff.
The original video is on the cell phone.
Yeah.
So,
just... dumb bitch. Anyway, so I'm like, that right there is another felony too, kind of. But then again, if she's filming them at school, that's a public place, and like that's different. But like, I just hate that she's like, I can film whatever I want, whenever I want, blah blah blah. And, and the teacher chews her out a little bit, but the principal is like, I should expel you for this. Why is she not?
Yeah,
I would have expelled her. Like, absolutely. I'm like, it's not the. Like, just this single action, I would be like, your behavior over a long period of time justifies me expelling you right now.
Yeah. And, like, all the pictures in the hallway, that's enough for
me. That's expulsion right there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's like, my dad's a lawyer. And I'm like, your dad absolutely...
Bring him in. Bring him in.
What the fuck did you do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, also, I know she would sit there and be like, well, you can't prove it was me. We can get to the phone companies, and they can tell us exactly what cell phone towers it pinged from. Yeah. Your text messages, which your texts were very obviously going to his phone, but at your house, you were then sending those pictures to your computer.
Yeah.
Why would the teacher be doing... Like, it's stupid. Anyway, so he's like, well, your dance is completely canceled, and for detention, you and your friends are taking down all the decorations. And she was like, well, you can't cancel the dance because the tickets have already been sold. And he goes, and you can organize a refund. Have fun with that. And she was like, And he's like, well, I'll be calling your parents, too, to let them know what's going on, so get out.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, fine. Well, I'm gonna go wash my face because thanks to you, now there's spit all over it. And then gets up and leaves. And I would have been like...
trying to get the last jab in.
Yeah, and just... Anyway. So
also, as the principal, I wouldn't cancel the whole dance, because, like, what about everybody else?
Because it was her wanting to put it on.
But I would be like, you can't go. Get out.
Yep.
Sorry. Everyone else is going to have fun, but
you're barred from any dance in the future, and if you try to show up, like...
Yep. You're going to get kicked out, and that's it.
Yep. Anyway, so she goes outside, and Helen is standing there with her friends, who the friends are just like... like, we haven't done anything wrong. You were accessories to underage child pornography.
Yep.
Felony.
This is a very big deal.
It's a very big deal. Anyway, so she's like, okay, well, let's go clean up the decorations, everyone. Let's go. And then she looks around. She's like, hey, where's your one friend? I think her name was Lena. Okay. Or, I don't remember. Anyway, and they were like, well, I guess she's in the bathroom. And she's like, oh, right. Well, come on, let's go. So we see her in the bathroom. Okay. The friend goes in to go use the toilet, spends 11 seconds on screen before she hears the bathroom door open.
1 alligator. 2 alligator.
Of just her sitting on the toilet.
Okay.
Yep. But of course she hears the door open, doesn't think anything about it. Just, it's like, oh, someone else is coming to the bathroom. Not a big deal. You know, whatever.
Public bathroom.
And it takes 31 seconds for this scene to happen. Okay. I also, this is where I started really like, what the fuck, Yeah. And we hear scraping against the bathroom stalls. I'm guessing Cupid is just like, with my arrow, I'm just gonna scrape it across the bathroom stall instead of doing fucking anything. Anyway, At that point, she starts like, what the hell is going on? And she like looks under, and that's where she sees Cupid's feet on the ground. Okay. Well, like it looks like he was possibly hovering and then came down.
Lands.
Yeah, and she was like, and so she gets up, sits on top of the bathroom or the toilet, like she's like, oh my gosh, yeah. And we see more scraping. I don't know why he's doing this, but she like leans her head against the bathroom stall and he knocks an arrow and shoots it through the bathroom stall into her head. Okay.
An arrow through the wall of the stall?
Yeah, I guess with his godly strength he can do that. Like, yep. Anyway, it doesn't like kill her right away because it like just kind of like hit her in the side of the head and she like pulled away screaming, runs out of the bathroom stall. He catches her really quick and like rips open the back of her shirt. And I was like, what is happening here?
Me?
Yep. Pulls out a heart-shaped cookie cutter and just starts like cutting out like pieces of her skin. What? I know. Yep.
Who thought of that?
I don't know.
Who the fuck?
I know.
Needs to go to therapy.
I know.
Right now. What?
Like, I've seen a lot of fucked up movies, but I was like, oh my.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's really
weird.
weird.
That's really weird. Yep.
Okay.
And, but yeah, he's like cutting out heart-shaped skin pieces out of her back. Anyway.
Okay.
So Faye goes into the principal's office now, and the principal is like, I'm just gonna gloss over this whole kissing incident. Because, I mean, she technically didn't do anything illegal. The teacher pulled away immediately. They have it on film showing that, like, she's the one that made the move. He pulled away. He did not reciprocate. Yeah. So technically, a crime wasn't really committed, unless you want to talk that she sexually assaulted him. But, like, yeah. Yeah. And he was like, but you can't go around beating up other students no matter the provocation. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get that.
Okay, but
also...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna punch her in the face.
Yep. So he then proceeds to give her detention too. Justifiable. You shouldn't be punching other kids, right?
Sure.
With Elise and her friends to help take down the decorations. The girl you just got in a fight with. Yeah. This is the one thing I think he did as a principal that I was like, No. Anyway.
I hate when they're like, we're going to make you work together.
No. It's not going to happen. Okay?
No.
It's not. Stop trying to make fetch happen. Anyway, so Duncan is like, listen, I don't know fully who is texting you because even though they found the phone on Elise, like, he's like,
sure.
Yeah. But it wasn't me and I'm really sorry about that. And she's like, yeah, okay, And the principal's like, we will find out who did it, and further action will be taken. And I'm like, good. Yes, good. So we see Faye go off to the gym, and Matt is waiting for her. And she's like, what are you doing here? And he was like, I'm not going to leave you alone with them.
Aww.
And I'm like, Matt! Ooh! Like, he's my favorite! And Helen is like, Matt, I didn't have you down for detention. He's like, I just wanted to help. And she's like, okay.
Oh, Matt.
Okay. Gather round, everyone. She's like, all of these decorations need to be down before you can go home. And they're like, it's going to take us all night. And she's like, well, get started then.
Yeah.
And so Duncan is talking to her then, and we see the other kids, like, go up onto the stage. And the whole time, I was watching them in the background, and you can see them standing at this ridiculously teeny tiny little, like, card table where they pick something up, and it shows the scene later, but from our point of view, watching this right now, they just keep, like, smelling it, bringing it to their face and, like, showing it to each other and smelling it themselves again. And so I'm like, you can tell the director was like, just go back there and, like, pay attention to those things.
Just do the thing.
Do the thing that's going to be the next scene, but, like, we're not going to record you yet. So, like...
Okay.
So they're over there just doing that.
You weren't supposed to pay attention to that part.
I guess, but, like, why did you film it then? Anyway. So they're just kind of talking for a second and stuff. And he's like, I still have a few more papers that I have to finish. And she's like, yeah, well, I guess I'm going to be here all night. I would not leave that many students who just got in a physical altercation with each other alone with one teacher. No.
I mean, she was going to chaperone the whole dance.
So this
is a breeze.
Yeah. So now we're back up on the stage and it's showing them filming. And there's this plate of cookies. that are very clearly not cookies.
Oh, no. They're skin cookies.
They're skin cookies,
Ew.
okay? And they're very, like, fleshy. Like, to me, it looked like they just had raw cookie dough with jam smeared on the top of it, sitting there on the table, okay? And Elise goes, they look a little burnt. They're not burnt at all. There's no cooking whatsoever on this.
So it's just like raw skin?
Raw skin. Daryl picks it up and is like into his mouth, like
it's wiggly.
It's like
it's flesh.
And they're like, so they're all kind of chewing it a little bit, you know, like.
Also, why are you just eating these random cookies that are sitting up?
I don't. You guys are the planning committee.
You.
Like, right, but you guys are the planning committee. If you didn't put them there, who did?
Yeah. No.
I just. No. Britt goes, tastes like chicken.
No. Fucking no.
Faye goes, chicken cookies, right? And Matt is like, yeah, they make everything taste like chicken now. Like, they've got like this vegan fake meat that tastes like chicken. And then proceeds to go off on this little rant. He's like, I don't understand the point of making it look and taste like chicken if you know you're not eating chicken. Like, it's just, like, it's.
I mean.
He's like, as a vegan, you don't want that, right? Like, it is. Yep. So Elise gets out her phone and starts texting her boyfriend, and Helen comes up and she's like, hey, this is detention, no phones, give me your phone. And she's like, I'm just letting my dad know where I am. And she's like, nice try, we've already called your dad, he knows where you are. And her phone rings and she gets out, she's like, you better not answer that. It's one of those like, don't you do it, I'm gonna be so upset with you if you do it. And I'm like, oh no, I would have like slapped that phone right out of her hand and been like, no, go. Yeah. Anyway, so she answers the phone and she's like, says to her, you can't talk to me like that. Answers the phone, talks to her boyfriend. She's like, yeah, see you outside in a minute. And then proceeds to leave. And Helen is chasing after her, being like, you can't leave. Where do you think you're going? Blah, blah, blah.
You can let her go and find out.
I know, right? And so...
she'll get even more trouble.
Yep. And so she goes to leave, calls Ellen an asshole, and calls Helen an asshole and leaves. Helen tries to chase her down, but runs into the principal along the way, and it's just like, Elise is leaving, and he's like, you didn't try to stop her? She's like, I did, she didn't care. And so he chases off after her, and Elise is doing that whole little, like, walking faster, looking over her shoulder thing, and he's like, come back here right now, young lady, and she's like, make me biatch, and I'm like, I immediately would be like, okay, leave, you're expelled.
Yep.
Do not come back. Yep. You come back, I will have you arrested for trespassing.
Yeah.
Like... And anyway, so she runs outside, her boyfriend's sitting in the car waiting for her, and she jumps in with him, and is like, bye, bitches, haha, and he's like, what is going on? And she's like, I'll tell you later, let's just go, and he's like, okay, so he goes to try to start his car, and it's not starting, and the principal comes out and is like, standing in front of the car and stuff, and the boyfriend's like, why is it not starting? Like, what's happening, you know? And she's like, come on, come on, go, like, because she keeps trying to give the principal, like, this, like, I'm still better than you, like, even though my boyfriend's car isn't working, which it's a nice looking car. So anyway, so we hear this
oh boy
behind them, Cupid. And the principal turns and looks up just to get shot in the eye.
Oh no.
Very upset, right? Well, the boyfriend and Elise, freaking out, are like, oh my gosh, right? Well, Helen's standing at the door watching the whole thing go down. Well, Elise and her boyfriend jump out of the car, and he never got his name, and they start like running towards the school, and Helen has the door open. She's like, come on, and I would have been like, I would have locked it immediately.
Sorry.
But no, so Helen's a better person than I am and lets them in. And the boyfriend gets shot in the leg by the arrow. Okay, or by an arrow from Cupid and stuff, and he starts like limping, and Elise throws his arm over her shoulder and starts dragging him into the school. The only good thing she's done in the movie. I was like, loyal to your boyfriend at least.
Does not redeem,
no,
but it's a point in your favor,
right? So they get inside just as he gets shot in the back too, right? But he's still alive, so they rush him off into the gym, because I guess the gym is closest, and they get him to Elise's other friends, who are like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And Helen is like, get him to the infirmary and stuff, I gotta find a phone. And so I guess they cut out a scene or whatever of her going around checking all the phones or whatever, but none of them are working. But she runs into Duncan's office and she's like, give me your phone. And he's like, okay, here you go. And she goes to use it, like freaking out. And he's like, what is happening? And she's like, why isn't your phone working? And he's like, what? And she's like, none of the phones in the school are working. And he's like, okay, what's happening? And she's like, come with me. So she drags him off to the infirmary too and stuff, right? But the whole time this is going down, Elise is trying to care for her boyfriend's wounds. And one of the friends is like, why is his blood like pitch black? Like, because he's just bleeding down his leg and stuff, and it's all black, right?
Oh boy.
And Elise proceeds to be like, give me something, give me this, give me that. And is like trying to like dab at his wound. Yells, why the fuck isn't it working? And then like flings herself back like she's totally in a panic. And I'm like, why the fuck is what not working?
You dabbing?
Yeah,
at
like
this
what?
Gaping hole in his body? Okay.
Oh.
Like stuff it full of something. Did they pull out the arrow?
No, they left it in. They left both of them in. So he's got the one in his leg and the one in his back, right?
Okay.
So her friends are like, what happened? And Elise is like, you wouldn't believe me if I tried to tell you. And they were like, try
me.
Like, what's going on, right? So, and I don't know if she's trying to calm herself down for a second. Like, she's like, okay, deep breath. Okay, Elise, we got this. We just need to tell them. And I don't know if it was on purpose that they were still trying to have her seem like she's hysterical, or if her camera stopped or her microphone stopped working right then, because she's trying to tell them about Cupid coming down and shooting him with an arrow. But like, I could not hear that. I had to watch it with the subtitles to understand what she was saying. And I guarantee you, whoever was doing that subtitles was like, what, bitch?
Just super
what?
quiet?
What? I think that's what she said. I don't know. Let's go on. Like, it was so quiet, right?
Okay.
And they were like, what are you talking about? And she's like, this guy with arrows, and one of her friends was like, okay, I think Elise has lost it, you know? And she's like, he killed Principal Harper, okay? Matt from the back goes, Principal Harper's dead? Screams at the top of his lungs. And she's like, uh-huh. And Faye is like, oh shit, and runs out of the room, right? Well, Matt chases after her and is like, one of the 4 scenes, he's like, do you know what's going on? Let me help you. Like, what's happening here? Just talk to me. And she keeps, nothing. Everything's fine.
No, it's not.
No, it's not, right?
Let him help you.
Yeah. Anyway, so Duncan and Helen show up now, and they run in there to check on the boyfriend, and Duncan declares that he's been poisoned, right? Like, he's got these black splotches, like, appearing all over his skin.
Good.
And he sends the other students out of the room and tells Helen that he's like, if this, like, whatever the poison is gets to his heart, he's gonna die. And he's like, and I don't know how to stop it.
Yeah.
Right?
No one does.
Yeah, exactly. So they run into another teacher in the hallway. It's the same teacher from before who was like, oh, Mr. Jones, you have a student with gum in her hair. Yeah. And she takes them back to the gym because she doesn't know what's going on. She just knows there's like mass panic, right? And so she just takes them off. And again, Matt is trying to get Faye to tell him what's going on, and she just ignores him and like keeps walking, right?
He just needs a new friend.
Exactly. But he slowed her down to talk to her for a second. So Elise and her other cronies get into the gym with the teacher before Matt and Faye does. Anyway, so they get into the gym, and the whole room just kind of like goes dark, and the screen pops up with the thumping heart on the projector, you know?
Okay.
And that's when Faye and Matt walk in the room, and Cupid is standing on the stage, right? And they're all like, what the fuck is that? And he snarls at them. Like, they're just like, kind of like, and they all scream and scatter as he's like pulling out his, like, he's straight up just like, nee. Does he shoot anyone? No. They run into the hallway and stuff, and they're just kind of running along. Helen and Duncan hear them screaming, and that's when they realize the boyfriend's now dead too. Like, he just... Yeah. So in the hallway, Cupid shoots the teacher in the leg. Okay. The teacher was trying to help him. Faye runs back to try to help her, but Matt runs up to like, what are you doing? We gotta go, you know? And she's like, this is my fault, right? Well, the teacher just starts shoving him off. She's like, go, get out of here, get to safety and stuff. And I was like, teacher for the win, right? Then starts talking some mad shit on Cupid, like, you fucker, like, just kind of, she's like, she calls him a bastard, tells him to stay the hell away from her, and screw him, as he, like, rips the arrow out of her leg and then stabs her in the head with it, right? Waste not, want not. And, yep. And I was just like, fucking get him, teacher, you're gonna die, but I'm gonna talk some mad shit before I die,
might as well.
Yeah. So Elise and the guy crony run into the science lab, okay? Their friend Britt ran to down a different hallway, and they find Faye's spell book and instantly know it's Faye's. Just, she knows it's her, right? And Faye and Matt go into, oh, I forgot to tell you. The Cupid also shot another arrow, and it went through Matt's arm, like in his forearm and out the other side. So he's just like holding his arm like this as an arrow's like out of his arm, right? So they freak out and go running into a bathroom. And they get in there, and she's like trying to help him when she looks up and she sees that "Love Kills" is written on blood on the mirror.
My goodness.
Yep. And at the same time, Britt runs into a locker room or another bathroom.
Combination of the two.
Yeah. And is like running around trying to get out when Cupid lands behind her, pulls out a bouquet of roses, and forces the stems down her throat and like come out of her skin and her neck, right?
What?
It was my favorite death, honestly. It looked really cool. Like, it was,
wow.
When they were done, she just had like the flowers sitting out of her mouth and then like the stems sticking out of her neck.
How hard would you have to push?
I don't know.
Like, they would just...
I don't.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
okay.
It was my favorite kill.
I'll let it go.
It still took 22 seconds of him like, and her just on the ground, and like 22 seconds.
Just do it, man. You're a god.
I know.
God's
I'm like,
sakes.
that should have taken maybe 6 seconds. Of just like flashes and like, yeah, just like him forcing it down and her like freaking out on the floor. Like, it should have been 6 seconds. It was 22 seconds long. But you know, gotta pad that runtime. So in the bathroom, Faye thinks that Matt's been poisoned and all this stuff, and she's like, we just have to get you to the infirmary and we can see what we can do and stuff.
Nothing.
And Matt goes, if I die tonight, I want you to know that I sent you that card. And I've been into you since the 5th grade. And she's like, what?
Oblivious?
What? Yeah. And then proceeds to go on with this story.
Oh,
okay.
no. Okay.
When you used to sleep over, I was never allowed to sleep at a boy's house, right?
No.
When you used to sleep over, spooning you wasn't an accident. And she's like, what? But you said, and he's like, I know I said that I thought you were my mom.
What? Who was spooning their mother?
But no, I knew it was you. I spooned you because I wanted to. So let's unpack that for a second.
Do we have to? Is my question.
Like, first of all, I love that they're just like throwing out spooning so casually. I know it's a very casual, like...
It almost sounds like they wrote this with another word there, and they were like, that's too much. Let's make it spooning.
Yeah, and I just...
Spooning you was no accident.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
I spooned you because I wanted to. Like, that's it.
That's
like,
weird. Who spoons their mom?
That's another... I was like... I just...
And, like, they make it seem like they were older-ish.
At least, like, because they liked each other from 5th grade.
Yeah.
So that's, like...
10, 12-year-old boy and girl should not be having sleepovers.
No.
That's all I gotta say.
That's when hormones start. So, like, I just... Anyway.
Okay.
And she was like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I've always kind of thought of you as, like, my little brother.
Oh, man.
And he's like, well, you're a mood killer.
For fucking real.
And they hear a thump in the bathroom stall.
Okay.
Okay. So they look over, like, they creep over to it and open it up. I want to know what thump they heard, because there's Elisa's dead friend in the stall, the one that had the cookie cutter out of her back, right?
Oh, okay.
And when they see that and they look down and they see the bloody cookie cutter on the ground, they're like, oh, it was the cookies. And like freaking out, you know?
Yeah.
They hear another noise and go to investigate. 28 seconds later, they run into Duncan and Helen. Matt screaming his head off, right? And he was like, you could have warned us, you know, just like... And I'm like, how would they have, like, if they heard a noise, I would have been like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But anyway, so they all run off to the science lab together because they see that he's hurt and they're like, oh, we need to try to help him. Let's go. So they run off to the science lab where they run into Elise and Daryl, and Helen being like, Elise, Daryl, you're alive?
Okay.
And Elise was like, well, don't sound too happy about it. And I'm like,
she wasn't?
Is that sarcasm? Because I missed it. Like, I just...
Okay.
Yeah. And then Elise starts, like, accusing Faye, because she holds up her spell book, and she's like, you did this, and goes on a ridiculously long rant about, like, my friends are dead because of you, and now my boyfriend's dead because of you, and this is all your fault, and is like, oh, you don't even have, like, the guts to admit it, and after everyone's kind of, like, staring at Faye, and she's like, yeah, okay, it was me, all right, I did it, and stuff, and Elise is just like, well, all my friends are out there, and I need to go find them now, let's go, Daryl, and, like, snaps her fingers at him.
Oh no, he is not your dog.
And they go out together, right? So they leave, you know, yeah. And they run back into the gym, not sure why, but immediately are like, something's wrong here. Everything's wrong.
Literally the whole time it's been wrong.
Yep.
This is not new.
Yeah.
What?
So they're there for a minute, and Duncan has Matt's arm they're in the science lab, okay?
Right.
Has his arm in a shop class vice, like holding it steady and a vice.
Go down the hall to the shop class and get the vice and bring it back in the science lab.
I don't fucking know.
Okay.
Anyway, so Helen and Duncan are talking for a second about like, what are you gonna do? And Duncan holds up a hacksaw. And he's like, we have to stop the blood from getting to his heart, and this is the only way we can. Kind of a thing, right? Well, as that whole thing's going on, they're talking over there. Matt doesn't know what's going to happen. He just is like, I'm just going to do what the teachers tell me. Yep, yeah. I'm just going to, And he's talking to Faye, and he's like, I'm going to die. This isn't good. Like, this is so fucked up. And Faye's like, listen, we're going to get out of here, and it's going to be fine. And when we get out of here alive together, I'm going to take you on a date. And he was like, I wanted to be...
You're going to take your brother on a date?
Right? But he goes, I wanted to be the one to take you on a date. And she's like, it's the 21st century, Matt. And I'm like...
This is not the time for this.
No. You, with your surface level feminism, go fuck off, right? Like, just... So they come up, Duncan comes up, holds up the hacksaw, and is like, we gotta do this. And Matt is like, no the fuck we aren't. Do you even know what you're doing? And Duncan goes, before I became a teacher, I was going to medical school, but I dropped out. And I quote... I couldn't be asked to study in that debt.
What?
Yeah.
Get the fuck right out of here.
Helen, looking so admirably at him, goes, I get that.
Bitch, what?
Bitch, what? Yeah,
what is happening?
I don't know. The whole time I was like, okay. Okay. So Duncan, like, looks at Matt and he's like, we have to do this. Like, you're gonna die if not, And...
If there's a shop class, couldn't they, like, does no one have, like, a buzzsaw? Circular saw?
I don't know.
Something.
Because they're in the science lab.
Hacksaw. Okay.
Yep. So that's what they're talking about. Back at the gym, Daryl suddenly gets attacked by a Cupid by having Valentine's Day cards thrown into his back, like fucking
shuriken.
Yeah, shuriken, ninja stars, like, and hits the ground. He's got like 3 or 4 in his back now. Elise runs to leave, and Daryl's just like, Elise, help me, and she fucking knocks Cinnamoons out of there and just is gone, right? And so then Cupid comes up behind him, grabs him by the hair, and like takes one of the cards and cuts his throat.
Oh jeez.
Yep. And so he did. Sorry, Daryl. Yeah. The one of your friends who was like, we should not do this, but like also continue to be her friend. So, Duncan is now cutting off Matt's arms, and the blood
oh no.
is like, I'm pretty sure they just had like a big super soaker where they're like, it's just stream after stream. And Helen is like she's trying not to laugh because it just like, anyway, it's splattering over everybody, and they're just like going at it, going ham.
Okay.
For way too long. Anyway, I didn't time that one, but
it's for the better.
Goes on for a very long time. Matt screaming out in pain, obviously, right? And then his they cut off his arm, and I guess they like put a belt around his arm to help with the bleeding and everything. But at some point, I guess they decided that they needed to go to the gym to get towels to bandage his arm. Not that they don't have an infirmary would obviously have far better equipment than that, but whatever. So they're like, we have to go to the gym to get the bandages and stuff, right?
Okay.
So Faye they're just kind of talking for a minute, and he was like, did you really do this? And so she shows him the spell book, and she was like, yeah, but I didn't think it would work. I was doing it because I was trying to get you to fall in love with me, kind of stuff, And he was like, mm-hmm. And she's like, well, clearly the spells didn't work, And
one of them did.
He was like, well, what is this whole Cupid thing and stuff? And she was like, I didn't think this would happen. Like, and he was like, what did you think? You literally
consented to so many things.
So many things. Yep.
You said, I understand, do it.
Yep.
So fuck you.
Yep. So she was like, well, I guess I didn't think this would happen, and we have up until the end of Valentine's Day. Duncan looks up at the clock. That's 10 minutes from now.
It's midnight?
It's almost midnight.
Okay.
So, like, I don't fucking know how long they've been running from Cupid because it was daylight.
It was right after school.
It was right after school when they first got attacked. So they've been running around for
6, 7, 8 hours?
Yeah. Like,
cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Like,
even from 4 o'clock, that's 8 hours.
Mm-hmm. So I guess they've been hiding out for 8 hours, and it did not seem like it. So he turns to Helen and goes, we're going to go get those towels. I'll be right back. Okay? Helen proceeds, don't you say that, and runs over to him and kisses him and goes, just say You'll see me in a bit. Because you will.
I'll be right back. Not farewell forever.
Yeah. Like,
what? Why does the writing suck?
I don't know. It would be different if she was like, that's what they say in horror movies and then they die. So don't say that. Like, that's the tiniest little change of a scene. You know, like,
yeah.
That's all you would need to do. Like,
Okay.
Anyway, we see Elise still running away from Cupid, and she spends like a very long time running away. Like, it's way too long of just her running through the school and stuff. But she runs into Faye and Duncan, right? And all three of them decide to go to the locker room because she's like, he's right behind us, go, 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 right? And they all take off together. So they get to the locker room, and they're grabbing the towels. In the classroom, Helen is tending to Matt, and she gets up to like get a clean washcloth to like dab at his face and stuff. And here's something behind her.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then takes a step aside, and we see Cupid standing there, right?
Yeah.
Back in the locker room, Faye and Elise are having a heart-to-heart about all her friends being dead because of Faye, and her mom stole her dad too. And if your mom had just kept her legs closed, then I never would have hated you this much, and none of this would have ever happened.
Hasn't this been going on for some time?
I guess.
And dad's only been dead for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know.
And also, like, the way she said, like, this is the heat of the moment, like, that made it seem like...
It was, like, their first, like, time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Just a little tryst in the living room. Yeah. Not like, this happens all the time.
I guess it happens all the time.
What a slut.
So, I know. But, like, that's the other thing to me is that I'm like, you're not even, like... Listen, coming from someone whose mom died.
Yeah.
Dad got remarried.
Yeah.
Okay. When I was a teenager, okay... My dad had multiple meetings of me meeting my step-siblings to make sure that we liked each other, at least, you know, or could get along. And yeah, I got along with them. Yeah. So, like, I'm pretty sure if I had been like, absolutely not, Dad, I hate these people, he would have been like, okay, like...
You need to figure something out.
Yep, I'm sad, but okay. Like, you know, I just...
I don't know.
So it drives me crazy when parents are like, well, our happiness is far more important than your happiness. I'm like,
I'm your child.
Yeah, I'm your child, right? And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that Dad died. That really sucks, you know? But, like, maybe you and I should be getting closer as a family as opposed to you wanting to just bang every dude in town. Like,
maybe.
Okay. I get frustrated. Anyway, so I'm just like, or you could have been way less of a bitch and stuff, right? But this is... They hear a scream from the other room, and Duncan is like, Helen, and they run off, right? And they get into the gym where I guess Cupid just decided to take her to instead of just killing her. Anyway,
okay.
So she's there up on stage, and Cupid is like knocking an arrow at her. And this actor, I'm sorry, he's like 3 feet tall. He's a very short man.
I mean,
but he's working with what he had. So yeah, he's pointing an arrow at her, and she's like, help me, to Duncan and stuff, right? Well, the room is also dark, and they also happen to stand over this, like, purple light that they placed on the floor. Like, we don't see the purple light, but it's behind Duncan and in front of the two girls, so it's very clearly just this purple light that they put on the floor. They're like, there's your marker. And he goes, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine, right? Like, just trying to, Faye gets the bright idea to summon the god of death again. Right?
Cool.
So that's what she does. Yeah. Because they literally just had a few minutes left of it all. Anyway, and I was over here thinking that she was gonna, like, just try to, like, wait it out and, like, but no. So she summons the god of death again, right? And with the same spell. And he shows up again behind her, and as his, like, fingers are creepily wrapping around his neck, she tells everyone not to look at him, because if you look him in the eye, he'll steal your soul. Right? So the other two are like, okay, no.
I don't think she knows that.
Right? I don't know where it said it, but that's...
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yep. And he's over there like, you dare summon me again, kind of a thing, right? And she's like, I do dare. And he's like, well, what do you want? And she's like, I want this all to stop. And he's like, no. And she's like, yeah, I do. And he's like, no, I told you what would happen. You knew the consequences. And she's like, I didn't think this would happen. And he's like, does no one read my fine print? What are you talking about? Like,
I told you everything.
Right? And he's like, you have to wait for the curse to be up. And she's like, or what? He's like, you have to offer up a sacrifice.
Oh, boy.
Right? And so Duncan's like, don't do it, Faye. Like, she at no point was like, okay, take me instead. Then no, Duncan was immediately just like, don't do it, Faye. We only have 2 minutes left on the clock. And the god of death goes, 2 minutes is enough to kill everyone in this room. As Cupid's like, yeah, bitch. Like, with the arrow and everything, just like, who am I going to kill next? So as he, like, raises the arrow on Duncan, Cupid also came closer to them and stuff. Faye rushes him and shoves him out of the way. Okay? And I really want to know. I know that they said earlier in the movie that he can't be stopped. No one even tried. no one even like tried to fight him. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I know he's got like a bow or like a bow and arrows and everything, but like maybe in the moment that he's not stabbing someone with an arrow, you
like try to like
fight
stab
with
him.
them. Yeah,
or,
like
something.
Something. None of them do. So whatever. So Faye rushes forward and she shoves Cupid out of the way, causing Elise to like turn and see what just happened because reactionary. Looks at the god of death, and she, fuck, I looked at him, oh my gosh, oh no, blah, blah, blah. And so the god of death immediately moves from Faye over to Elise, wrapping his hand on her shoulder, and Cupid comes right up to her face and stuff, and she's like, oh my gosh, and like freaking out. So the god of death like turns her around to face him again, and at that moment, Cupid yanks out an arrow and like shoves it down into the back of her head, right? And I was like, that's killing her. That's not stealing her soul. Like, I feel like there's a difference.
I feel like there should have been like a sucking out her soul,
kind
harvester of souls situation.
No. So he just shoves it, and it comes out of her mouth, right?
Ugh.
And so she hits the ground. Well, suddenly, Duncan's phone goes off. It's midnight. And Cupid and the god of death just kind of fade into... And I'm like, here's the thing. I understand Cupid fading away. I'm the god of death. I don't have to abide by these rules. Yeah, what? Fuck that. Like, I can do what I want. Like, but they both fade away, and maybe the god of death was like, yeah, that's good. That's enough killing. I'm good, But, like, he fades away, and suddenly Matt wanders into the room, and he's like, it's so dark in here, and everyone's like, don't look! Oh my gosh, like, don't look over here! But he flips on the light, and there's no one there, right? It's just them standing there and stuff. And they're like, oh my gosh! And poor Matt is just like, what the fuck is happening? Like he's very clearly lost a lot of blood. He's very much just like out of it, just kind of like my little stump arm, Yeah. And Helen runs over to him and grabs him and kind of leads him over to the group. And they're talking and they're like, oh my gosh, it's over and stuff. And Helen is talking to Duncan. She's like, I want that drink right now. Extra large, you're buying me a drink. We're gonna go drink right now. We're gonna get him to the hospital and we're gonna go do that. That's gonna be a thing, right? And she's like, I'm going to go get the car ready. Well, Elise suddenly stands up, screaming at them. And Faye turns, holding her spell book, whacks her in the face. And she falls back down dead. Okay?
What?
And everyone was just kind of like, And Faye goes, okay. It's over. It's all over.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, Cupid hurt her very much. She's not going to live from that. I really don't think so.
No.
But you just killed her. Like, she dead because of you now. Like, just...
Yeah. Like, why was that your reaction?
I don't know.
She felt that in her soul. She was like, this is my moment.
This is my moment to get on my revenge, right? But they just kind of, I swear that the actors looked at each other. Helen and Duncan just kind of looked at each other and had to resist the urge to go, oh, well, like, like just, a comedy thing. Anyway, so they go back outside, they go outside. Helen gets Matt into a car, and she's like, okay, I'm going to take him off to the hospital. And Duncan and Faye are like, well, we're going to wait here for the police, And alone, Duncan turns to Faye and asking her what she's still doing with the spell book because she's holding it. And she's like, nothing. Ever again. I'm so sorry for everything. And he kind of nods at her. And then leans in and kisses her on the cheek.
No!
And he, like, pulls back all of a sudden and is like, holy shit, I think your spells started to work or whatever, right?
Ugh.
Yeah. And so he takes her book from her and starts flipping through it and is like, there has to be some sort of spell to, like, sort this out. Because he very much doesn't want to be in love with his student, right?
Yeah.
And Faye looks a little hesitant up at him. The end.
What?
Mm-hmm. The end of the movie.
Why?
That they wrote, that they filmed and produced
and put out into
marketed
the world
and released
to the dollar store.
So,
why did the spell only start working now?
I'm pretty sure they were trying to set it up as like a potential sequel.
Fuck that
but
bullshit.
Like, fuck that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I just have to tell you that the entire time I was picturing the Cupid as like the little old guy from Tangled.
Oh.
He was like, I need a tall glass of water in the end. Because he's like Cupid at the end, right? He's just like, that was Cupid in my brain.
Yeah, no, he's this little like Asian guy, which on the cover, it shows him like with the teeth and like the spooky eyes and stuff. Yeah, he's got that little face mask on. He's not bald like he is on the cover though. He's got a top knot.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't think that the Roman god of love would be a little Asian man, but that's fine. Like, I mean, he did the best with what, I mean, he never spoke in the whole movie, but he did the best he could with the horrible like makeup job they gave him and the horrible wings,
the horrible storyline.
Just everything was horrible. It was all bad. Terrible. The only props I have to give them is that they used CGI very rarely.
Oh, good.
So it was mostly practical effects the entire time.
Nice.
Like, they showed, like, the only times they really showed it was when Cupid was, like, up in the air flying and stuff. And the initial moments that the arrows would fly down.
Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah.
I'm not going to actually shoot something at you, you know? Like,
yeah.
So they did that. And there was a couple of little blood spurts, like when the arrows would hit them, they would do the CGI blood.
Oh.
But then it would, like, you'd turn, or, like, it would go back to them and you'd see that there was, like, a fake arrow sticking out of their eye, and there was blood all over. And so, like, it was very, like, I understood why they did it. It was very cheaply done.
Not great.
Not great. I really wish that they would have spent a little bit more time on Cupid's wings, like, a little bit more money, because they were so bad.
Yeah.
They were so bad. And I'm pretty sure they just had someone, like, off camera every time just kind of, like, moving them slightly to make it seem like he was moving his wings and stuff. And it was just...
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your scores?
My scores are all bad. Bad.
Okay.
Except for the practical effects. Like, they were cheesy looking. They looked like college student kind of, but they were, like, I give you props for trying to do stuff like that. So, like, good job, you know, like.
You made a movie.
You did
a thing.
it. I have not yet, so you've one-upped me.
True.
So, like.
True.
But.
Okay. What was the score again?
It was a 3.06 or 3.6, something like that. It was pretty low.
Yeah.
Pretty low.
I mean, it sounds deserving.
I think it deserved less. I'm pretty sure the only reason why I had that high of a score was because of their special effect, or like the practical effects.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and Elisa's acting. So
she was the one.
She did fantastic. Like, everyone else was kind of stumbling over the words, and she was like, every line she had was down pat. Like, she knew what she was saying when she was saying it, and like knew what emotions to use. Like, she was the best actor in the whole movie. And like, the whole time though, and she was gorgeous. She was a very pretty actress. And I was just like, I wish you had been Faye. Like, you were really good at being the bitch, but I was like, I wish you had been the main character. If you can
act that well other things.
Yeah,
then,
I went and looked her up. She's in a ton of other B movies.
Nice.
Like, a ton of them. But she's only started acting back in, like, 2016. And then, everything she's been in is the last, 3 years. And she's been in a lot of movies. 15, 20 movies.
Nice.
In the last, 3 years. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, good job.
Were the other students, old?
No. I could believe that if they had set this in, an early college, their first year of college, I could have believed that.
Okay.
One of the girls very much looked older. She was the one that died with the cookie cutter. Yeah. So, which I don't understand how that killed her. I mean, it would hurt. It would definitely hurt. Yeah. But, I don't...
Maybe he, killed her off screen later.
Yeah, he had to have, right? But,
I can't believe they ate those.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you pick it up and it's floppy...
I would have been like, I'm not eating that.
Why in the world?
I don't know. And it very much just looked like jelly smeared over the top of it. Like, it wasn't frosting. Yeah. It was, jelly. That's and I'm sure they were trying to make it seem like it was, her blood and stuff. But, it was not. It was, more of a maroon, not red.
Okay.
Yeah. So bad. It was all bad.
Where did you watch it?
Dollar store. I got it on the dollar store, but I'm pretty sure you can find it on YouTube and stuff. So
it's gross.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know why I said gross, but that's my innate reaction, I guess. So
this was definitely one of the worst movies I've ever watched in my life. I
know you told me that, and I was really? Because we've seen a lot.
Exactly. What I was hoping would have happened, what I really wanted to happen, was that, because Cupid's so angry, he's so bitter, he's so hurt about how his true love, was killed unintentionally through him, kind of a thing. I was not expecting them to, summon the god of death again, whatever. I was really hoping that Matt did something to show his true love for Faye.
Oh, or that Cupid was like, oh, that exists.
And he was like, oh, kind of a thing, or that Helen and Duncan did something to show that they truly loved each other. I really wanted it to be
sacrifice or something.
Something to show that Cupid, or to show Cupid that love really does exist, and sad that you lost it. I'm so sorry for that, but
why am I doing all of this?
Yeah,
and, yeah.
And I really wanted that to be the thing, not just they waited out the clock.
Yeah, fucking at the school for hours.
Hours.
Okay. Cupid was taking his damn time.
Yeah, he was.
He was just playing around.
So there were a bunch of other people at school. I don't know if he was off killing them. Because they showed a bunch of other teachers, like, throughout the day. I don't know if they all just, like, left in the afternoon, but, like, the principal was there. There were other teachers still walking around while Helen was going up to him and being like, Elise just left. Like, there was people in the school. So I don't know if he was off murdering them or, like, whatever, but...
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Also, I guess Cupid has the magical abilities to make phones and cars not work and lock doors and just, you know...
Makes sense.
Makes total
sense. He is a god,
yeah.
so why not? Why not just give him the ability to do whatever the fuck he wants?
I don't know. I was really hoping that it would have gone a different way.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that. I mean, wild. Really. That's the word that I got. That's it. But I hope your Valentine's Day was better than skin cookies.
Yep.
Because yikes.
Yeah.
Don't eat cookies that you didn't put out into the gym and just leave on a table.
If you find food just laying around, don't eat it.
No.
Just don't.
No. If you don't know who made it, maybe don't eat it.
Yep.
If it tastes like chicken, it's probably not.
It's probably not. But I'm like, does our skin taste like chicken? Or I thought that's like the meat of us. Like the really, I kind of like...
Don't know. Couldn't tell you. But like also tastes like raw chicken?
Yeah.
Like why?
Yeah. And they're just like, yeah, let's gobble this down. Like...
Maybe it was cooked? Was it...
No, they were they were floppy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, skin is thin. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was floppy because it was... We're going to stop talking about it. We love you. Happy late Valentine's Day.
Happy late Valentine's Day.
See you later.
See ya.
Have a good time.
Have a good time.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. Let us know what you think by leaving a comment or sending us an email at bmoviebashpodcast@gmail.com.
You can listen to our episodes on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Apple, Amazon Music, and Audible, or you can find the video versions on our YouTube channel.
If you want to support the podcast, you can find our Ko-fi link on our Anchor page. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends.